Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson of Beyond Solitaire, and this is the third and final video in my little tutorial series for Undaunted 2200 Callisto. This is a game by David Thompson and Trevor Benjamin, but the solo mode is by David Digby and David Turtzi. In the first video, I showed you how to set up a solo game. In the second video, I showed you round structure and talked about some rule changes from playing a 2 or 4 player game. And then now we're just going to go through 2 detailed sample turns so you can actually watch the game in action, and then you should be ready to go and do this on your own and have a great time. So as usual, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw cards. The bot does not draw cards, but I will as the player, so let's see what I get. Okay, a survey tech, a ripper, a nail gunner, this is a big day for squad B, and another survey tech. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is determine initiative. I have to pick a card from my hand to give up for initiative, and then we're just going to see what the bot had. So let's look through what I have and think it out. In this scenario, I'm playing as the Breakers, and I need to either control 5 objective points or neutralize 3 LFA units. So I think what I'm going to do is try for points, and that means that I need to look for spaces with some points. So here we have a space that's worth 2, 1, 2, and 1. I think maybe my best bet is to start moving my units down and up to these 2-point spaces and then see if I can grab a 1 point easily depending on what the bot is doing. Because don't forget, when you neutralize against the bot in this game, it's not just what is in their deck. You have to actually go through their entire supply as well and eliminate all instances of a card before you fully eliminated it. So maybe what I do is I go for points and then I see if I can opportunistically knock out some of the units. So if I want to go looking for points, that means I'm going to need to scout. So I'm going to keep the cards that are going to allow me to do a little scouting. And then I'm going to play one of these as my initiative. But I'm not going to be controlling any spaces this time, and suppression might be really good. So I think I'm going to keep the nail gunner just to kind of see how things progress. And I'm going to give up the ripper as my card with initiative. So that's my initiative card. And then now we're going to draw 1 card off of the top of the bot deck to see what its initiative is going to be. So if it beats or ties me, it's going to keep initiative, which it starts with. However, if I beat it, then I'll get to go first, and it'll play 1 less card, which would be great. So let's see what we get. Ooh, all right. So interference affects the bot just as much as it does us. I'm not sad to see this here. So this means that I will definitely be going first. Initiative is flipping to me. Hooray. And so I'll just play out my turn, and then we'll play out a bot turn. So because I kept the initiative, I mean, this card wasn't going to do anything for the bot anyway. But this is going to go into discard, and the bot will only get 3 cards on its turn, which is a huge relief. So this will just go off to discard. This card is also going to go to discard for me. I don't get to keep it, alas, but I do have these 3 cards I can do something with. So sadly, these only allow me to move and scout 1 each, but we need to get out here and start being assertive. So I think what we're going to do is the nail gunner and the survey tech are going to move this way, up towards this space. And then I'm going to have the survey tech from C move here. And then we're going to try to advance further in the next turns. So as you'll note, these cards have multiple actions on them. I can choose one thing to do. I can move 1. I can do an attack for 2 and a suppress for 4. But I don't know if I want to be trying to fire all the way across. The defense is going to get really high for the enemies here if I do that. And also, you know, no guts, no glory. I'm going to try to get out here and do some stuff. And I may regret that, but it is what it is. It's just sample turns, right? So again, I have options on each card, but I only get to do 1 thing per card. And we're going to focus on moving and scouting. So basically, Nail Gunner B and Survey Tech B are both going to move here together. So the Nail Gunner has a normal movement, and they can just move into here because this area is already scouted. They don't have to do anything fresh. The survey tech, if they were moving in here for the first time in an unscouted space, they would scout it, and then we would add interference to our discard. But since this spot has already been scouted, we're just moving along. And then Survey Tech C is going to do kind of the same thing. We're going to slip down here in hopes of advancing to this space soon. So that's my whole turn. I just moved around a lot. No regrets. So now our friend, the LFA bot, is going to draw 3 more cards. Ooh. Geez, it was like everything high this time. I guess the only bad card that I have is the initiative. And so what's going to happen is we are going to arrange them in terms of initiative, and then I'm just leaving them in the order they came out for the sergeants. So we have a 9 Captain, 7 Sergeant Z, and 7 Sergeant Y. And so we're going to activate them in this order. All right, so to proceed, we know we have a captain to activate first. We're going to find the captain information in the bot procedures, and we're going to follow it. So for the captain, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll a d10. All right, so we rolled a 2. On a 1 to 4, this captain will bolster 3. On a 5 to 10, it'll command 2. So what that means is we're going to add cards to the bot's discard pile that'll then get shuffled into its deck. But which deck do we take from? Again, the die is going to tell us. So bolster 3 means we're going to get 3 cards. We're going to roll this d10 3 times and determine which decks to take from. So 1 will be deck Y. So we're taking a Corpse Deck Y. Our second roll was a 1, so we're going to stick with that. I saw that. So again, we're going to bolster from Y. Another Corpse Deck. And then our third roll, ooh, a 10, is going to take us from this V deck up here. And we have a Gunner V. So we've bolstered our 3 cards. These will come back to bite us later, but the captain has activated and is done. So that's the captain dealt with. Now we need to deal with the sergeant for Z and then for Y. So this is lots of bolstering, inspiring, commanding. It's a little concerning. But if you look at the chart, the sergeant does bolster potentially, but it does it in a different way than the captain. So the captain, we rolled a die. The sergeant is going to just give us some procedures to follow. So first, we look to see if there's matching cards in the play area. And if there are, we're going to inspire. And then if there aren't, we're going to bolster in the matching squad. So if you look in our little play area, there are no matching Z cards for the sergeant to inspire. So instead it's going to bolster 2 in its matching squad, which means we're going to bolster 2 from squad Z. This is terrifying. So we got a scout and another Corpse Deck. Ugh. And then for Sergeant Y, we're going to have the same situation. If it could inspire cards in the play area, it would, but there aren't any Y cards for it to inspire. So basically it could let other Y cards go twice, but they're not there. So it's going to bolster 2 from Y. I'm scared. That's a lot of cards. All right, so these will also go in the discard. So that actually resolved an entire turn. And this was interesting because I feel like I got more movement in, but this thing has loaded up to do a whole bunch of different stuff to me, and we're just going to have to see how it goes. So it's now time for the second of these sample turns. Let's see what happens. I'm going to draw 4 cards. Ugh, interference, no. Okay, so I have a choice here. Do I want to do a bunch of stuff but maybe give up initiative? Or do I want to try to play it a little bit in the middle but then still end up with an interference card in my deck, wasting my time? Alright, I think that I want to do stuff on all these cards. Like, that's always the issue, right? So I think what I'm going to do is, even though it pains me, I'm going to play interference as my card for initiative. Even though I'm definitely going to lose it. And the bot's going to get to do 4 things, which really sucks. We're going to do it anyway. And then they are going to play, the scout. So they definitely get initiative back. My card gets discarded. And now what's going to happen is they're going to draw 3 more cards, and we're going to resolve them. And then we'll have my turn, and the sample will be done. Ooh, an interference. Good, at least it's something it can't do. Okay. This actually came out nicely for initiative order for us to look at. Okay, so this time we have a scout, a commander, a corpse deck, and an interference. So they would have done all 4 things, even if this is a really nasty card, because they got the initiative. Remember that the bot gets a little bit of extra oomph compared to you. So let's work through what the bot would do based on what's in our handy set of charts. So first let's look at the scout. Actually, this is perfect because the first thing the scout will do is it says if there's interference in the play area, it'll recon it. So basically the bot will remove the interference rather than have the scout do any of the other options. So remember, when you're going through the options, you take the first possible thing it could do, and then you ignore the rest. So even if it looks like a big entry, you just go to the thing that it can do and then work from there. So in this case, there is interference in the play area, so the scout will recon it. It gets removed from the game. And now the scout's been played. Hooray! Okay, and then we're going to look at the Commander A. Commander A has to do with the Artemis back here, which is A to A correspondence. And let's see what's going to happen here. So the way this is going to work is, as you can see, there are 3 different dice options. That is because you roll different dice depending on different elevation. We're just at the standard elevation, so we are looking at the middle die. So right now we're at even elevation. It's all just normal. So the bot would roll a d10 to attack. And its threshold for doing that is a 7 here. And that threshold is basically the highest total defense that the bot will be willing to attack against. And we count that by looking at the defense on the pieces. So let's look at our nail gunner that has less defense, because I think that's probably what the bot would do. And then we have 1, 2, 3 distance between this space and the one where the nail gunner is. So 4, 5, 6, 7. The Artemis is going to feel comfortable taking the shot at my nail gunner. So basically, we're going to roll that d10, and if it's a 7 or higher, my nail gunner gets hit, and if it's lower, then they don't. All right, so the flowchart says we're going to attack X, but we're actually going to attack 2 because that's what it says on the card. Anytime there's an X, you're going to sub in a value from the actual card. So we're going to roll 2 d10s, and we're going to hope to get less than a 7 on both. All right, lucky, lucky. So that was the commander. They didn't do what they wanted, thank goodness. And now let's see what the corpsec is going to do. All right, so let's have a look at the corpsec procedures so we know what to do. The first one is control. So that space where our corpsec is already controlled. It doesn't need to do that. We're good. The next one is the space controlled and enemy occupied? There is no enemy occupation in this space, so we will not be attacking. We're good. So then, is the space secure? So secure is kind of a special term in the game, and it's specific to the solo bot. So basically, a space is secure either because the bot doesn't care about it, or because there are already other units there that will kind of protect it. So the idea is that the bot will not leave a space unprotected for you to move in and control it. It's always going to try to leave somebody there to block you from taking over. So this space that the corpsec is currently in is secure because there are a whole bunch of pieces there. Like, nobody's doing anything to that space. It's pretty safe. So there are no threatened objectives right now because we don't control anything that we consider a threat. So then we can go to an uncontrolled objective. So that'll be highest value, followed by fewest enemies, followed by elevated, followed by random. Or we can go space nearest to. And that'd be no corpsec present, furthest from enemies, elevated, highest cover, random. So we basically have like a little order of things that are going to help us figure out where to go. So there's several uncontrolled objectives here. One of those is worth 2 points. So it'll probably go towards the nearest one of those. So the corpsec is only going to move 1 anyway. So we are going to have it move right into this space because it's moving towards these uncontrolled objectives that it would very much like to control in the future. And that is the complete bot turn. These will all go to discard. And then I can do what I want before closing the video out. Okay, so I think we definitely want to, let's take a big turn. That seems fun. So while I'd love to bolster a bit, I think what I might actually do is use my supervisor to command. So I can draw 2 more cards. It's interference, but a nail gunner. And then, so this will just kind of get dumped. So we dumped the interference. What do I want to do next? I think I want to play my squad leader to let me bolster from the B pile. I'd like to scout some more, and I need some scouts to do that. So let's grab a Survey Tech B, and I can get another B thing. Maybe I want a Ripper because I'm working on my scouting and controlling abilities. Then I've got Ripper C and Nail Gunner C, And I think what I'm going to do with each of them is I don't really want to take like an ill-advised attack all the way across the map. That just seems a little silly. So the Ripper is definitely going to move here so that I can hopefully go in conjunction with the Survey Tech into this space to take it over, get some control. And then what I might actually do is just for the funsies, I might roll to suppress this Corpse Sack, which is kind of moving our way. So I can roll 4 d10s to just try to suppress. So it won't do any damage, but it'll like maybe knock them out of commission for a little bit if I get a good roll. All right, so I've got my d10s. Here's my 4th one. And I need a 4, 5, 6, 7 in order to hit. So let's see what I can do. Did I have any successes? I had 2. Excellent. So now this guy is suppressed. And the next time he tries to take any actions, he'll just spend that time unsuppressing himself. So I'm going to waste the bot's time a little bit, which I think is a good choice. And then it's 2 turns of Undaunted Callisto. Hopefully this gave you a good sense of what it's like to move through the bot flowcharts so that you can have a great time doing it yourself in your games. So thanks again to David Digby, David Tortzi for the solo mode, to David Thompson, Jennifer Benjamin for the game itself. And thanks to y'all for watching. I hope that this tutorial will help you get moving so you can have the absolute best time possible if you pick this up. So thank you very much, everybody. Please like, subscribe, comment, ask questions, and most of all, happy gaming.